Gamebreaker TV.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to GuildCast episode 43 for October 3rd, 2012. You're watching Gamebreaker TV. I'm Gary again. Today, Guild Wars 2 turns legendary. No, it's not a World of Warcraft show. Halloween Madness is confirmed, and more patch notes, all that and more, plus your viewer questions, of course. But first, the one, the only from Zam.com is Mr. Scott Hawks. How are you, sir?
Hello, I'm well. I'm very good. How are you?
Good.
Excellent.
Excellent. And, of course, Massively.com. It's Elixir Claire. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome! It's Wednesday. It's time for GuildCast. It's always awesome.
Yes, indeed.
And, of course, from Gamebreaker, Bog Otter, and so many other amazing things, it's the one, the only Richie Procopio.
Howdy, everybody!
Hello.
Hello.
So first up this week, I don't know how much you guys want to talk about this, but I thought this was really interesting, and I feel like we have to actually bring it up. But Legendaries popping up.
I don't want that one so much.
So bad.
That's the one. Everybody just crop.
We're jelly.
So jelly.
That's it. It's so gorgeous.
Gift it to us, please.
So yeah, are they pretty much just flooding in now? I mean, we got a bunch of screenshots here. We've seen a whole slew of them. So
It's the only thing called Twilight I've ever wanted, I'll tell you that.
Well played, sir.
Name it Jacob. Team Jacob. Are you guys anywhere near? Are you close at all?
Oh,
It's
no.
funny because we're not.
Sunrise.
No.
See, but the real race is still going because we didn't see the first aquatic legendary yet. That's where it's at.
Yeah,
That's
that's
where
the
it's
real
at.
prestige.
Aquatic
All those people
legendaries.
I want to spend all of my time underwater and hoping people swim past me so they see my aquatic legendary.
It'd be so sad. You'd be sitting there in Lion's Arch going, "Come on, everybody, come in the water! You gotta
Come
see
on,
the water!"
oh man, that's so
You just
depressing.
hang it over and over again so that people know that you got it.
They're probably gonna have to make it so you can just
Find
jump.
out.
Maybe they'll have to make it so you can just jump in the fountain. At least you can show it off. You're like, yeah, I'll jump in the fountain. I can actually pull this thing out.
Like, no,
It's
Richie,
so
I have
lame.
one, I promise.
It's the legendary version of Aquaman, the
Yes.
like superhero. What can you
Yeah.
do? Breathe underwater.
Have any of you guys
It's a
seen
great
any
catch.
live in game yet? Have you seen anybody with one in game?
No.
I have not.
I
no.
feel like this is like almost the time I'll talk about SWG. Star Wars Galaxies, everybody take a drink. I feel like this is like when we first saw a lightsaber. And I was like, oh my god, Ryan Vernier, hurry up. Get on, there's a guy with a lightsaber. He's a Jedi. It's amazing.
Seriously.
They just looks so good. Oh,
Yeah,
also
and this
weapon porn is what that is.
It's Guild Wars 2 weapon porn.
Best kind of porn, may I say.
Oh,
and the stills don't even do it justice at all.
no, they don't.
You got to see the effects on them.
That's the thing is I want to see what they look like in game, like right in front of you.
I've seen video, and oh my word.
I should have brought some video. I don't know, maybe I'll see if I can find that. All right, so next episode this week, Halloween is on the way, and we've got confirmation of they're going to have some in-game madness. There's absolutely no details as of yet, but that's not going to stop us from talking about it. So, Guild Wars 1, peeps. Liz, what did ArenaNet, how did they celebrate Halloween in Guild Wars 1?
So Halloween in Guild Wars 1 was all about Mad King Thorn, who had been locked away in the underworld and had a series of seals placed upon him to keep him there. He could only get through, once a year on Halloween's Eve. And he would come into cities and there would be a big party and you, kind of catered to his crazy whims. And he actually had a really creepy backstory.
Yeah.
He's like a really funny NPC who's all about super, super lame puns. But he was this horrible, murderous man who had 8 wives and killed them all and burned one of them alive. And only got her to marry him because he captured her father. He was just a creep, super creepy dude.
Sounds very English monarch.
Very.
Isn't it?
Yes. So it was all about like heralding his arrival and stuff like that.
So do you guys? Go ahead, Rich.
I was saying the people actually like they stormed his castle and they
Burned him and skinned him.
did bad things to his body. So he comes back as this haunted spirit and then plays games with you.
There you go. Hey, you want to play some WW with King Mad King Thorn? So what do you guys? Do you guys both? Does everybody sort of expect to see him back in Guild Wars 2? Is he a staple?
I
Yes.
think he's confirmed back, yeah, with voice this time, which would be exciting. Something that's interesting was that at the very end of kind of the story as Guild Wars 1 took it, the seals were being broken. The lunatic court, which are his followers, had broken one of the seals, so it might be that more have been broken since then, and we might see more things happening. So I'm excited to see where they take that story.
Do you guys expect like a long maybe quest chain or something like involving him? You're saying if he's confirmed and he's going to have voiceover, do you think he's just be standing around like saying some random stuff, or do you think we'll actually have some sort of content surrounding him?
They've been in Guild Wars 1. They put out a lot of content with it. There were some little mini games you could play, but there's also there were PvP games you could play, and there were quest lines as well. So if ArenaNet likes these holiday celebrations, so I do expect them to have a lot of cool stuff for us.
Any possibility you can get this
100%.
armor? Some pretty badass gear he's got.
Maybe. I mean, they've done Halloween and other holiday event armors in their cash shop for Guild Wars 1, so that's something that could totally work as a gem store edition. And people bought it like crazy in Guild Wars 1. I don't imagine that changing for Guild Wars 2. I would love to have that if I had a male character, but I'm sure it would look amazing on females too.
What about what do you guys? Go ahead.
So I was just going to say, it just squeals gem store, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Limited time only gem store gear.
Yep.
It just screams that
Elizabeth
putting that in there.
Elizabeth already bought the gems for it.
Yes, they're
It
waiting.
is like
They're
very
just
much a
cached.
collector's item. What about dynamic events? I mean, you think we're going to see any kind of like a week of spooky dynamic events? I mean, the system seems perfect for it.
I totally see them doing that. I mean, it's because they had the chains and quests and everything in Guild Wars 1, and they've shown through beta testing that they can do these one-off events that are totally crazy and zany and don't really necessarily have to do with lore, a la Hunger Games 1. I can totally see them going nuts and just having some madcap stuff. Because despite the Mad King's like really creepy background, Halloween was always like super fun. Like you're running around as a candy corn character in a couple of the quests in Guild Wars 1. So I see them doing really fun, lighthearted stuff with it rather than being all spooky.
Yeah, and
I'm hoping
the skill system, really allows itself to do stuff like that too. Because Guild Wars 1 was very similar, like Elizabeth mentioned. You run around as a candy corn man, and you have entirely new abilities like Sugar Rush that made you go faster and stuff like that. So they could totally do that same kind of thing in Guild Wars 2, and it'd be awesome.
Super
I'm hoping
awesome.
the very top up we have some, localized dynamic events, which I'm sure we'll get spread around, and then perhaps that'll ramp up to something like area-wide, like you were saying in the beta weekends, where they basically took over an entire area, transformed it into something else, had madcapery going on everywhere. So yeah, hopefully we get a good variety of things. Something like a few quests, localized things, dynamic event chains would be great, and then going into something that could perhaps be area-wide. That would be awesome. People rushing, oh, let's run over here, something's going on. That's what you want from this sort of event, something that's going to get people talking and drag people from different areas into different areas for the event.
Absolutely.
How long did these last in Guild Wars 1? Were they a week long, 2 weeks long? I'm kind of disappointed we're not seeing for the entire month, because the possibilities are so there's so many good possibilities here of just having fun, like throwing pumpkins at each other and just trick or treating and just random just goofiness. I mean, I guess we also got to assume also capital cities are just going to be fully decorated. I would think.
I can't imagine they wouldn't be. At least Lion's Arch, because I mean, Lion's Arch. Commodon were all like super decked out. They had NPCs who were transformed during the event, so I hope that they would keep that up, because it would be a great legacy.
This is a bunch of gear, I guess, that was from Guild Wars 1. hats, masks, pumpkins, dragon masks, wealth crown, mummy mask, scarecrow masks. So they definitely have a reputation of doing this stuff. It seems like they definitely do it right and offer a lot of options and variety when these kind of things come around. Do they tend to do this for all holidays, or is this like ArenaNet just loves Halloween for some reason?
They do it for Halloween. They do it for Winter's Day, which is the in-universe Christmas. They do it for the Dragon Festival, and I think there's one other one that gets its own masks. Richie, help me.
Is it the Grenth
Camp
one?
the New Year's. Grenth and Dwen is Winter's Day. So Camp the New Year's, Dragon Festival, Halloween, Winter's Day. I think that's it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
What do you guys expect? Do you expect all of this stuff to possibly be gem store items, maybe very limited things through Quest and things like that? I'm sure something's going to be available through Quest, but I'm going to say that this is perfect stuff to go limited time only on the gem store. You buy it if you want. You don't if you don't. You don't have. I mean, the skeleton face painted. Come on. You just sell a million. Put that on the gem shop. That's going to sell like that'll put like somebody's kid at ArenaNet through college right there.
Seriously.
They'll probably have something that you can earn from playing all the games and just participating in the event. Some sort of hat or maybe a piece of town clothing or something like that. But I would imagine they will have stock stuff on the gem store as well. So I hope there's a mix of both.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I would think there would be. There'll be ones to lead you in, and there'll be something like ridiculously cool on the gem store. They say, "Oh, I can't resist. I'm gonna have it," and that's got to be the way they're going to approach it.
Yep.
You guys think you think ArenaNet will do anything with the Risen?
I kind of don't think so, because the dragons are built up as this big, huge, evil deal, and since they typically make holidays more of a lighthearted thing, I mean, one of the holidays in the original Guild Wars was after the first year just like a replay, so they had like characters running around saying lines that were really obviously lines they were saying rather than actually being evil guys. So I don't think they would want to trivialize the Risen. I don't know. What do you think about it?
Actually, I think that
Scott.
I think that because the way the Risen interact in certain elements of your personal story as well, there's certain invasions that go on in there, that's kind of already been done and might detract from that as well. So I'm not sure the Risen might be used as extensively as, I mean, it seems like the obvious thing, Halloween.
It does. The undead theme going. It just seems like they would do something with it, but
thematically it does. But for the way that the Risen is so tied into the story of the game at the moment, from like level 1 all the way up to max, it might detract from there a bit. Whereas, as Elizabeth said, this is supposed to be a bit more fun, and maybe use something a bit different.
I mean, I guess I thought about like, maybe they could do like something where you have to like push back the Risen or something, and kind of like starting zones get kind of overrun, and you've got to go back and kind of push them all out and just have like big battles or something.
That sort of thing, spoiler. That sort of thing does already happen in your personal story anyway. There's some very specific mass battles where that happens. So it's not like that would be something that new or something that people haven't seen. So I'm not sure that it would have the effect that you might desire from that.
I'd really go for it, Richie.
A lot of the later zones are full of Risen, and I just think players probably want to see something other than Risen at this point. So hopefully they have something cool to show us, maybe a new model or two.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to see them run with the Lunatic Court. So I would vote for not more Risen because I've seen a lot of them.
What if they just you spend 2 hours.
So you spend 2 hours in a raw fighting Risen, and you get back to Divinity Reach. I'll think, God, more Risen.
More Risen. There you go.
I don't want more bloody Risen. I've just left them.
I mean, so they've done a kind of like the tongue-in-cheek fun thing in the past, but I mean, I don't know. Is there any? Maybe they should just drop the whole funny thing and maybe just have Zaitan flying around over Divinity's Reach, just like
I would break my Elementalist lore. I killed him.
That's true.
He's dead.
He's dead.
You're spoiling now.
Elizabeth kills Zaitan?
Oh my god!
That's actually, no matter who you go in with, you see me killing Zaitan.
Oh, that's how it ends.
Sorry.
Apparently the chat room overwhelmingly wants a butter costume. They just want a Halloween costume of butter, which
everywhere.
That would be really
actually be really good.
Totally
I could see them doing
accurate.
It's really going to be really sticky around
Stick
Divinity's
of
Reach in
butter.
the main city. You'll be all right. You'll be all right in Holbrack because you'll just be frozen, just standing
That's the-
still like butter statues.
That's the fridge.
I was gonna say Holbrack is the fridge.
Dude,
Here we go again down that road.
always.
Can't avoid
It's a
it.
dangerous,
Can't avoid
sticky,
it.
slippy road.
It's always about better. All right, guys, I want to tell you guys about a great deal we got going on with Netflix right now. If you guys have not checked out their free 30-day trial, I don't know what you are waiting for. Go over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. Sign up for the free 30-day trial. I want you to try it today. If you do like it, you keep it. It's $8 a month thereafter for the streaming service. God, I'm still just insanely hooked on Breaking Bad. I can't. You know what I'm like hooked on right now? I can't wait. When does he? By what like season does he become this guy? Like this is such a badass like image
End
of him.
Third.
Yeah, by midway through 4, he's definitely that dude.
By midway through 4, he's totally that dude.
The
I'm still on
latest.
1. I'm still on 1. Oh my god! So
Scott might be more right.
No,
I watched-
I haven't got all the way through myself either. I want to.
I mean, I think it's like episode. I was watching. What was the other night? I think it was episode maybe 5, when he has the sit down conversation with his family, where he's sitting around. Well, with the talking pillow.
Richie's like, spoilers.
With the talking pillow, and they have like this heart to heart about him having cancer. Oh my god! I almost just started crying and laughing at the
Brilliant.
same time because the talking pillow
Get
is
over that.
brilliant.
Because it was
Talking-
so ridiculous. That
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. It's amazing. Who is the talking pillow? You take the talking pillow. It's so realistic, but it's heart wrenching. It's heart wrenching. It's such a damn good show. I can't believe I slept on this. Go over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. Sign up today. I think all 3 seasons of Breaking Bad are up on Netflix right now. Season 4 is still running, so I'm sure they'll probably have season 4 once that's done. But it is so worth your time. I still don't know how this is. Isn't it like 14 and up? I still don't. It's gonna play it. I don't want to do that. I don't think they'd like me for it. But it's awesome. Just go check it out. Go to netflix.com. Just go sign up for the free 30-day trial. All right, move on. Patch notes. We got more patch notes. First up, ArenaNet have fixed an issue, which I am very disappointed in. I don't know about you guys, but I am very pissed off at ArenaNet right now. And I don't.
You mean the Guardian changes? You're right.
Seriously.
No, I'm
How
talking about
dare they?
I'm talking about the camera getting too close to the player's backside. They fixed it.
Oh, dear. Are you
Kidding?
like a proctology fan or something?
Kidding?
No more auto upskirts.
No. What's the deal, man? That was like Screenshot Central. Thank you, ArenaNet. Thank you. Sure.
Chat room saying that was a feature.
It was a feature. I considered it a feature. All right. We'll get to your Guardian changes. Transmuted cultural armor now prevents opposing races from equipping it. Now, this one's up for debate. I mean, apparently they didn't like Char running around looking like nobles, I guess, or plants or whatever. But I don't know. What do you guys think about this change? I don't know if I support this one. I kind of like people being able to wear whatever they want to wear.
I don't actually.
Given that the whole point is that like the cultural armor is for that race and it's supposed to be like, yay, I'm Sylvari, this is the essence of Sylvaritude. Like, it made sense. So I'm kind of for it.
I'm for it as well. Like, they're so specific that, dressing up a Char in one of those, cabbage ninja outfits from the Sylvari, it just doesn't work. And you're like, I understand your point.
Dude, but
like,
that coupled with the amazing camera angle was golden. That was the dream, man.
Well, where do you draw the line? Can the cloth wearers, the scholars, wear the heavy armor then? If everyone should be able to wear everything?
Female tubes wear male armor, please.
Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of like the restriction personally.
Scott, what do you think?
I think that I like the fact that each of the races looks distinct and they have their own flavour, and I think that keeping it that way is a good thing. So I think that's fine.
Yes.
I haven't got a problem with it, so there.
You're alone, Mr. Gen.
Yeah.
You guys apparently want to live in a dictatorship where, there's no freedom in this game, and they just tell you everything you got to do and what you got to wear, man. I want
As
to
long
wear
as I
whatever
agree with the
wanna wear.
dictator, I mean, gosh.
I can't wear cabbage uniforms, and I can't get upskirt shots, so I'm over this game. I quit. How about this? Wait, pro tip right here, ArenaNet. Take this one. How about special cultural transmutation stones in the gem store?
To transmute the gear or your race?
Both. Either or. I don't care. I just made that up. There you go. Put it in the
Personal
store.
story takes a drastic change halfway through.
Gem store is the answer for everything. If something's broke, just put it in the gem store. It fixes everything.
True.
Just
that and the Mystic Forge.
The Mystic Forge, yeah.
Yeah, Mystic Forge is really...
The arcane toilet.
How about the trading post, though? Gem store doesn't fix the trading post. How has it been for you guys? I mean, I hear it's up most of the time, but I'm hearing it's somewhat randomly, sporadically down. Are any of you guys experiencing that?
I think some people experience drastic delays, and so therefore assume it's down, and not like delays of delivery, but like delays of loading. And so they're like, oh no, it's down! It's like Trade Post Mageddon again. But it has been fairly unresponsive on occasion.
Yeah, I've tried. I was actually using it quite extensively last night, and like it was going real quick, real smooth, and then all of a sudden there was like 45 seconds to load a page, and then like a minute to search, and and then it sped up again. So I have experienced it, but for the most part, it's been pretty decent for me.
Also, this patch, we got to see some changes to the auto balance system, as well as in structured PvP. So games will no longer auto balance too close to the end of a match, which I think this is a good change. On GuildCast, I don't know if you guys called it GuildCast last week, we actually had, or a couple weeks ago, I can't remember, we actually saw the star player of our match here get auto balanced over. What do you guys think of that in general? Did it annoy you completely, or you just got to roll with it?
It only annoyed me when we were up by a significant amount.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was like once before they put in this change, obviously, I had just captured a point. I was the top scorer on my team. Like, I was doing amazing. We were whooping the other team's hiney, and I got auto-balanced over. And I was like, well, this sucks. I really wish I hadn't just captured, the one that's being guarded by sharks and is really hard to take back. Because I would have really liked to have had that advantage now rather than then.
So what you're saying is you beat your own hiney.
Yes, I beat my own hiney. And it was just kind of sucky. So I'm really glad that they put that in.
What do you guys think? Richie, you having the same problems?
I hear some strange persons talking.
Oh, you're hearing
he's
okay.
going down. He's playing his game there.
He's just going around there, and he's
It sounded like the guy from Ferris Bueller. Bueller. Economics. Yeah, no, I like this change a ton. It was certainly frustrating, like Elizabeth said, if you're doing a lot for your team and suddenly whoop, you're auto balanced over. And you know what? It doesn't really bother you when it's some other poor problem, some other poor schleb that gets moved over. So
yeah, it sucks to be them.
But in general, it is a great change. Great change.
So it looks like in the patch, though, anyone who volunteers to be auto balanced will receive a new volunteer bonus and receive the winner bonus even if they lose. Mm-hmm. Is that how this is going to work?
It's making the best of a bad bunch, basically, because you go over and you get those bonuses, and that means that you still get that even though you didn't get to go on with the game as you wanted, because the main problem being, yes, you'll get those bonuses, but if you were playing and you were having a really good game with the other team you were on, and then you switched over to a bunch of people who make you want to face desk all the way through it, then that bonus is nice, but it's still a complete pain in the arse, the game that you're playing.
Right.
So it's better than it was before, but it still doesn't completely, make up for what you might be getting thrown into.
But is there really any other? No. There's really no other option here.
No, as I say, it's the best. It's about as good as you can do, really, when that situation arises. So, yeah, you're going to get forced over, and you might have to run around with people who, walk backwards all the way through the game and all that sort of thing that makes Ed pull his hair out and throw things. It's the best they can really do at the moment, I think.
Because the other alternative is to do something like SWTOR did, where it's like, the teams are uneven, and if they don't even up in a few seconds, we're going to end this match on you, and that's frustrating too. So
that's insanely frustrating, I think, when matches end, especially if they happen a few times in a row. That's lame.
Especially if you've been queuing for 45 minutes. And
yes.
That's great fun.
Yes. Once again, Elementalists have had one of their infinite range skills brought back into line. Seriously, I need to start testing for these infinite range abilities before patches.
Elementalists, what is it about them?
I don't know.
Bring it orbital strikes next. It's crazy.
They just have unlimited power.
It's true, we do.
Unlimited.
Any other major changes coming to patch notes that affected you guys? Scott, your guardian, obviously.
Yes. Oh well, we had lots of things buffed. No, we didn't. We had was it Line of Warding? Let me see. Sorry, I brought it up to remind myself because I saw it earlier and I got misty. Line of Warding has a reduction on that from 8 seconds down to 5 seconds. So you just get that comical bump as people run into it.
They run into it, bounce back
5 seconds now, and I love that bump. It's one of my favourite things in the game, and you don't get it as much anymore, and that makes me sad.
Truly.
Liz, how about you? Any changes affecting you majorly?
Aside from my total lack of infinite range, no, we're good.
All right, yeah, me and you are good. We need the infinite range. How about you, Richie?
They didn't change anything on Warriors specifically because we're perfect, but one awesome change is they changed how Spear works underwater, and all of the abilities hit 3 targets now, because I actually complained about this a couple weeks ago on the show, just like I feel like I have no AoE ability underwater, and it is so much better. So that's an awesome change. Spears rule now.
Good change. All right.
Just one more thing.
Are you going to go on about your guardian? Are you going to go on about your guardian? Are you going to go on about your guardian?
Yeah. Wrathful Spirit.
What if we don't let you?
Get retaliation for 10 seconds. I'm going to speak loudly. For 10 seconds, down to 3.
What was that?
3.
Seriously.
10. Let's adjust it a little. 3.
So sad. Travesty. Sham. Mockery.
Are you done?
Travis
You mad?
mockery.
You mad, bro?
I'll be done for now, because if not, I'm going to...
I think you're mad.
There'll be expletives, and I don't want to do that.
BuildCast. If you guys have builds, please send them to submit at Gamebreaker.tv. BuildCast, if you haven't checked it out, is our Guild Wars 2 PvP and Theory crafting show, where Ed Park and Matt Sword dissect your build and play style. We're still looking for builds and plays, so record yourself in a WW match and give us the entire build. Build out your character on Guildhead. It's a good time to talk about Guildhead. Build it out on the old Guildhead there and send us, use the skill calculator there and send us that in your post. Post the video up on YouTube of the match, along with that link to the skill calculator of your character. And if we pick you, we'll play it on the show, and the guys will dissect everything and give you some pointers and tips and tricks. There you go. They don't do that. They're really nice about it.
They're very
Imagine if the show is just like, this guy sucks really bad. Wow, he's terrible.
Why would you place that
Smell this build.
Ooh, look at this. No, they haven't actually, if you guys wonder for builds, I mean, they usually have a lot of really good tweaks and tips and stuff like that. So send them in. We're still looking for more submissions. Submit at Gamebreaker.tv. That's what you got to do. Here was the big controversy of the week. Is night capping in WVDubs fair? So this blew up all over the place a bit. I feel like such a Care Bear for even asking this question, but there have been complaints about it, so I think we got to talk about it. There's been a lot of complaining about this. I'll get to the official statement in a bit, but
so much.
What do you guys think about this? It's just like to me, it's such a non-issue to even be complaining about.
a big part of the complaint is that it's not so much that, hey, when we went to sleep, there were other players that were playing. It's that there are some very competitive worlds that have large contingents of guilds from other parts of the world who are playing during those times. So it is, it's difficult for them to compete because they don't have that contingent. So that's the big argument. And yeah, I don't.
Sounds like someone picked their server wrong.
Yeah, so I don't think that ArenaNet should do anything about that, and I think that, like one of the devs said, all's fair in love and war. But yeah, that's the major complaint at this time.
So the German community manager Raymond Domk made this statement about it. He said, "It is the playground for strategists and great tacticians. It is the place for coordinated efforts and mean ideas in the middle of the night. Night capping is one of those valid tactics to score some points in a lasting battle, to get your world the upper hand, or cancel out daytime supremacy by another well-coordinated opponent." So, I mean, wasn't WVW just supposed to be fun anyway? Like, that it was...
Yeah. Oh, well. Night capping. It sounds like, we're going to have a tot of whiskey before we go to bed.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? Honestly, so people are playing at hours that you're not, and are able to play the game when you're not, to flip things when you're not around. Doesn't that mean that when you're back on, you can flip them back? Am I going crazy here?
Deep mind blown.
Is that it? Is that?
Well, I mean, so this is happen. Anytime you have any kind of PvP scenario like this with a flip like this, it's going to happen. I mean, if you're that competitive and you really care that much about it, you need to get people in your guild that are on different time zones, and then just get them to like, set their alarms. I'm not kidding you. In Star Wars Galaxies, drink. Some of our buddies used to set their alarm for like 3 a.m. when something was going to flip, and the Aussies were going to come on and like take down our base. And these guys woke up and defended it. And if you're that hardcore and you care that much, there's your answer.
It's in every game, even PvE in EverQuest, you'd have people who were camping like rare spawns, and you'd have guilds with people in different time zones covering a 24-hour cycle of camping a spot. And so you'd have people in different time zones doing shifts for weeks to get these things. It happens in every game, honestly. Where there's this sort of cycle going on. Oh, well.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole idea... Go ahead.
I've seen some servers like doing exactly what they should be doing. They're putting out calls. Hey, we're looking for Asia Pacific guilds to join our server. And they're actually advertising and trying to organize and showing, hey, we are a server who cares about world versus world. Come on over here and help us make it good. And that's exactly the kind of thing that you have to do. If you want to be competitive in this and you want to stomp overnight and get some
that's
people
the answer.
That's
what we did. This is on a server-wide basis, but when we were on a guild-wide basis, we found guild members who fit those time slots. It's the same thing. You just got to put the word out and get on the forums. If you're that serious about it, the whole idea of just disabling capping at night or preventing progress just seems so incredibly lame.
It's just ridiculous.
It's so incredibly lame. And I think for the people who are complaining about this, realize how lame that is. But I know the flip side to them is they're just like, well, we can't be competitive, and you're not on the side of it happening to you. So,
if it's that much of a problem, that it's going to get you that upset that you can complain about it. You've got two options: lie down and cry about it, or do something about it. And you can do something about it. There are measures, as we've talked about, that you can take. And the alternative is, as you said, you can now queue for WVW between these times. Because let's face it, if you went in at any other time when you couldn't change the map or the nose, what's the bloody point? So tough.
And I mean, the other Dubs has to run 24/7, or it doesn't work. And it's supposed to be fun. I don't know. I just don't see
the eternal battlegrounds between 9 and 5.
Yeah.
The eternal battlegrounds between 9 and 5.
The kind of eternal battleground.
Everything actually runs on PDT, so sucks to be East Coast.
The concerns are coming when it's cross-continent night capping, right? Like, that's the big issue. It's like some communities, like, for whatever reason, are playing on different servers, a different server's continent. Like, I think French Canadians are playing on French servers.
The French servers. Derp.
Right. So that's like the one example that we've seen. But I mean, it is kind of, it is kind of a crap that the whole server, of people are playing when you're not playing.
So get it back when you're playing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or Lord, recruit some people with different schedules than you.
I understand. Scott's going to explode. I understand. I mean, I definitely understand the frustration, but what are you supposed to do about it? If you make any kind of change where you make it so that the score doesn't tally as much overnight, or it's worth less overnight, then I mean, that's making it totally unfair for somebody who may be on that server, like North America server, who actually, works during the day, or is up all night because they have some sort of weird work shift. I mean, how do they make some decisions like that just cater to certain people? At least this way, it may not be completely equal, but like we said before, do something about it. It's really the only answer. They can't change those things. I've seen some comments or some suggestions saying, well, maybe they should do the matchups based on populations that play overnight. And I kind of see that's maybe, but I think that kind of thing is going to happen by itself naturally. The servers that have large contingents of overnight people are going to win their matches more often and go up the ladder. So I think that'll happen over time automatically. So that's about it.
Does the guesting system have any kind of weight on this? No, right?
No.
Because guesting has nothing to do with world versus world, because you can only get benefits from your world, so you can't participate in other people's world versus world because you're supposed to have a stake in your server's performance. I want guesting so badly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it'll be soon. Hopefully, maybe.
I'm glad it's in dungeon. At least you can go dungeons.
Yes, that's good.
Service.
That's very good.
You can do that now, which is good. We had fun with that in CM.
I would not have finished any dungeons were it not for that blessing.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
All right, let's do some viewer questions. If you guys have questions for the crew, make sure to send those to submit@gamebreaker.tv as well, or keep an eye on our Facebook page. We ask for questions there. First up this week, this one in from Tejmur, something that sort of seems Russian. He says, could you please explain the process of obtaining a legendary weapon? Who wants to take this?
It's very specific.
Who knows it
when
inside
the
and out?
moon is full in game, you have to fight your way alone to the heart of the Crucible of Eternity. There you pluck a single silver bolt from the door to the final chamber, plant it in a raw where Zaitan fell, water it with the tears and blood of every character on your account, and in 2 weeks, a single perfect flower blossoms, and in its sacred petals is Twilight, or whatever legendary you want. Or you can be a really boring person, collect 200 skill points, couple globs of ectoplasm, a base weapon exotic of the weapon you want, and 2 gifts that you have to forge by being a 400 level crafter in 2 different professions. And
That sounds incredibly less exciting than option 1.
Doesn't it? I really like the first one.
Option 1 had me. It sounded
Seriously.
like a movie. Like there needed to be a movie trailer or something for option 1.
There did.
It was very poetic.
So yeah.
Your score rising as you were talking. Actually, it's very good.
So yeah, two gifts that you have to forge by being a master craftsman, and that depends based on what sort of weapon you're building. 200 coins and stuff that you can trade in for a shard of bloodstone shard thing.
200 skill points.
200 skill points. I have like 50.
Mm-hmm.
Start collecting.
It's nuts.
Start working
So
towards
nuts.
it. So nuts.
And the exotic weapons, there's a random element to it as well, because you basically have to make some. You max out your crafting, say your weaponsmithing, make some exotics and throw them into the Mystic Forge, which is like the magic toilet in that you're sitting next to it for a long time crying when the wrong thing comes out.
I watched the saddest video this week of some guy who made like 28 exotic level 80 swords and filmed it. So I'm going to take these to the Mystic Forge and see what we get. And he films this thing, and all he got out of it I think by the time he'd finished keep putting them in, I think he came out with like 2 exotic swords instead of the 28 that he put in. And he got so depressed at the end. He goes like, so this is something you should never do. Thanks.
Thanks,
if you want your heart broken. Yeah, I'm hoping to have a legendary by like the time we celebrate the anniversary of Guild Wars 2. Is about my timeline.
The 10-year.
Yeah.
All right, next one up. This one is from no, we already did that one. Oizen Conaton says, do you think that being able to revive easily in a dungeon during a boss fight cheapens the experience? Richie, what do you think?
I don't know if cheapen's the right word, but I know what they're going for there. It is a little bit odd. I don't know. You could basically, depending on how close the waypoint is, you can graveyard zerg a lot of these things, and it does kind of feel a little bit weird, and I don't particularly like it. I think that the way they design the dungeons, if they didn't have that, then there would probably be a bunch of people totally unable to complete dungeons at this point. So it might be a necessary evil at this point, but I don't particularly like it, to be perfectly honest.
As long as they don't design the encounters to need that, like, I'm fine with that being there for people's crutch, because some people can go in and they have no problem. They can beat the boss without having to do the whole res zerg run thing. And that's totally cool, and it's totally cool that people who aren't necessarily so coordinated or skillful at dodging horrible, nasty blows can have kind of a crutch to get around differently.
It's more of a problem with trash mobs, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
The problem is in dungeons, on your boss mob, they've got these big telegraphing graphics that say, there's something coming, and you dodge out the way. With the trash mob, they're small, there's a crowd of you around it, there's the Sydney celebration of the Olympics fireworks show going off all around it.
Yeah.
So you just suddenly, you're punted somewhere, and suddenly, it's actually more problematic to fight trash mobs in some dungeons than it is the boss mobs, because it's difficult to evade their big hitting abilities. But it's quite fun if you're in like a group that doesn't know the dungeon quite well, because like you'll be down or dead and people running back going, oh please stay up, like you're running
just
back,
keep them in combat. Just keep them in combat. That's all we need.
And if they didn't allow this, like we'd be answering the question this week, like, the fact that you can't revive in dungeons makes it so super hard, and I am ruining it's ruining the experience. Like, we'd be answering the exact opposite question, wouldn't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally true.
To me, it's a sensible mid-ground for people as they're learning how to perform the boss perfectly. Once you've got it, you won't need it. Until you get there, it's there to help you.
I guess one thing that they could do is they could make different levels of the dungeon, and after, say, you complete it on one mode, the next mode could be no revival in the dungeon at all.
Hardcore mode.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, why not? Why? I mean, I could imagine guilds might want to be able to do that and just take the next level of intensity of like trying to clear it without being able to revive at all.
Like challenge mode.
Yeah. I wasn't going there. I wasn't going there, sir.
You were hinting there.
I was not. I was not going there.
Guild Wars 1 did challenge mode before World of Warcraft did. Let's point that out.
There you go. There you go. But no, hey, so see, Scott, I wasn't going there. See?
Okay. I believe you.
Last up from Joey Pr0n. Joey says, when guild halls make it in the game, are there any features that you would like to see in them that were not in Guild Wars 1? Richie, what do you think?
I want it to be a cool place for people to hang out and not just taking them out of the world. So I'd like there to be a way to unlock mini games and different types of activities that you can do with your guild while you're sitting around hanging out in this really cool place that you can customize. So that's what I'd like to see.
Liz?
Yeah, I'd like stuff that doesn't involve slaughtering each other or punching each other's faces into the ground, unless that's through like a keg brawl, in which case I'm totally fine with it. In the original Guild Wars, the only thing you could really do in your guild hall was interact with like vendors and merchant NPCs, or you could guild versus guild or 1v1 or scrimmage or whatever. So I would really like other things like whether it's the kind of feast sort of things that they've already set up that you can buy and set out, or just stuff to do that's sociable, because guild halls were so beautifully designed and so big and so fun, but so very empty and lifeless.
Scott, what if you could, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe they should like do some kind of like maybe plant stuff, and you could water them, and they would grow.
Farmville.
Tiller's faction.
Sure, that'd be great.
I wasn't going there, Richie.
There's nothing like
Richie. I wasn't going there, Richie.
About what about some sort of way that you can battle your little like cosmetic friends?
Oh,
Now that I see happening.
Now you're just trolling. Now
and
you're
then
just
maybe
mini pet battles.
you could get your neighbour guild hall to come and take care of your plants while you're out shopping, or things like that. That'd be nice.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, because you know what I really want to do is farm while I'm in my guild hall too.
Hey man, guild's gotta eat. Scott Hawks, follow him on the Twitter at Jarimor, Jarimor, and of course go over to Zam.com every day. Go over to Guildhead for all your Guild Wars 2 database needs. And follow the Mr. Hawks. Elizabeth Clare, follow her on the Twitter at Elizabeth Clare, and of course go over to Massively and read all her great work over there about Guild Wars 2.
Yesterday I posted a list of things that tick me off about Guild Wars 2. Super fun.
Nice.
There you go. That's good bait. And Richie Procopio, follow him on the Twitter at Richie Procopio. Go to Bog Otter, his YouTube channel. Come over to GameBreaker.tv. Read all his amazing crap there that he spews and slings crap. That's what we do.
Just talking you up like the star you are there.
Yes.
We need Farmville. See you next week.